Peter, the White House seems to be juggling scandals this week. It's a real three-ring circus. At the end of the week, where do we stand? Are they managing this well, do you think, or not?
The president moved pretty decisively yesterday, actually, to get on top of these scandals. So he announced the firing of the IRS commissioner. He released 100 pages of emails on the Benghazi controversy. And he also got behind a SHIELD law, which would offer journalists more protections. This is a response to the reports that Justice Department is looking into AP phone records as part of a criminal investigation. So I've spoken to people who've worked at the White House who say that he's moved a little late on some of this, that he's let these controversies fester a little bit too long. He's lost control of the narrative. But he moved yesterday to sort of get back on top of this, diffuse these as best he can, and return the conversation back to his agenda. Economic growth, immigration reform, things like that. So tomorrow he'll go to Baltimore, he'll try to talk about the economy, and he'll see if he can get the public refocused on what he wants to do.
Right, but the Republicans aren't exactly going to sit there and let him get away with this.
No. The Republicans are in full battle cry. They're investigating this. They're not going to be deterred by what the president did yesterday, and we're going to hear a lot more from Congress on these issues. They'll be looking at this for weeks, if not months. The question that for them is whether they'll be perceived as having overreached here. You know, the public is still concerned about the economy, bottom line, pocketbook issues. Can Republicans push this too far and show that they're obsessed with things that the public isn't really focused on?
He looks like he's being a little reactive to some of these. I mean, he sought to get in front of them yesterday, but every step that he took was a reaction to the furor that had already happened. How does he get in front of it and end the conversation? It seems like that's going to be a hard trick to pull off.
Yeah, that's an important question, and he's looked a little bit passive in some of these cases. He said, well, look, the Justice Department seizure of the AP phone records, that's an ongoing criminal investigation. There's nothing he can really say or do about it. On the IRS case, he was saying, well, we're waiting for the IG report. I can't do much until then. And on Benghazi, he has sort of dug in and said, he wasn't going to be releasing these emails until he did release the emails. So he was facing just that kind of criticism that you mentioned. Yesterday was a bold gambit to try to get on top of this, to try to be more proactive. And the question is, will it work?
So, do you think it affects the immigration bill at all?
The immigration bill, David, is still seems to be on track. The Gang of Eight bipartisan group that's working up a bill is holding together. The Republicans see it as in their self-interest to push this bill, to show Latino voters that they care about them. It would be self-sabotage for Republicans to sort of yank their support for this. So the immigration bill seems to be proceeding well enough on a separate track.
One thing I was wondering on Benghazi, do you get the sense that the administration just hasn't necessarily seen that it was going to be a big issue? Because my sense in speaking with some folks in the administration and even back during the campaign was that they felt this wasn't something the public cared about. I mean, they don't know where Benghazi is, and it was the kind of thing that it just wasn't going to get a lot of momentum, and yet this has stayed with us now for 9 months.
I think that's right. I think they were looking for the administration's view of this was the public wasn't focused on this. The real issue was the death of 4 Americans, and people would see this as an inside the Beltway kind of thing, but it's not been the case.